Hi. Hello, 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 hello. I wanted to see if anybody would say hi to me first or if I had to be the one to say hi. And apparently you all will say hi if I wait long enough. But I have to sit here very quietly and wait before anybody will say hi to me. Hello, 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 hello. All right, let's give a little rundown of everything. Hi, Rengoku's wifey. First off, let's see who got first in the end. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, nope, it just got changed. So first off, I'd like to thank Rengoku's wifey for getting second, Addie for getting third, Aiko for getting first. Oh, wait, no, but Aiko didn't get first. Spell got first, but Aiko actually did get first, but then Faith got first. And no, Aiko again, and then Addie, and then Aiko, and then Addie, and it looks like Aiko again. So congratulations, Aiko, for getting first. So proud of you, so proud of you. Wait, no, sorry. Actually, Yuki has it. And Vanya is actually first. Hi, Vanya. Hello. For life. Hi, I go by he, they. Chat, what pronouns do you use? G. Oh no. Can't believe you stole it. That's crazy. That is crazy. He, him. Nice. All right, let's go through everybody real quick. You forgot what I sound like when I'm not sleepy. I'm sorry, chat. Here. I got this. Hello, Moondrop. All right, we're just gonna talk nice and softly and slow, and if that's what y'all are wanting, I can just do this instead. I don't need to have any energy to my voice. I can just be, all mumbly. No, you don't want to fall asleep? Oh, come on, chat. I can call you Dwarf. Yes, I can. I can call you Dwarf. I know you love sleepy voice. But I can't always be sleepy, chat. I can't always be sleepy. Okay, and thank you for telling me. I just woke up. I'll fall asleep again. Please don't, Vanya. I need you here. I need you to protect me from all of the dangers of the internet. All right. Hi, Spell. Hi, Wifey. Hi, Shiny, whatever. Hello, Firth. Hello, Pink. Hi, Pink. Pink, do you like your artist tag? You better like your artist tag. Hello, Lily. Hello, Aiko. Hello, Not Love. Hello, Nap Time. Hello, Moxie. Hello, Savvy Addy. Hello, Dwarf. Hello, Moxie Roxy. Hello, Flower Cow. Flower Cow, lovely to see you back. Carmia. Hello, Carmia. How you doing? Hello, Yuki. Hi, Nia. Oh, okay. Fair enough, Nia. I guess Nia's not here, so I'm not talking to Nia. Hi, Desi. Desi, do you deserve praise? What do you deserve praise for? What did I miss? I'm here early today. I'm super proud of you. You did so well. You're doing so good. I am so proud of you. Okay? Totally wasn't watching your morning stream right before this. Did my afternoon or evening stream interrupt the morning stream watchage? I've seen that happen more than once where someone's like, I was watching your morning stream and then suddenly you started streaming and it scared the shit out of me. I'm living up to your name, Nap. I'm so tired. Aw, get some eeps. Hello, Echo Inferno. Lovely to see you. And, hello, Dwarf again. And I think that's hi, Addie. Hi, Aiko. Hi, Ty. I've already talked to everybody. I already said hi to Vanya. Oh, hello, Roxy Pop-Tarts. How you doing? Welcome. Let's see. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Don't call me a shrimp. Why are you calling me Gene Shrimp? That's fair. I'm dying right now. Have a good stream. Good luck on dying. I believe in you. You can do it. I mean, don't do it, but Yeah, Vanya, you're the super most important person. Hi, Lynn. Okay. We good? I said hello to everybody. Hi, everybody. How's everybody been today? Anybody do anything fun or exciting? Or anybody do anything except, work and then, be here? or go to classes? No? Work was slow. I had a shitty day. I'm sorry to hear that. You had an interview. How'd the interview go? You went go-karting. Go-karting sounds like a lot of fun. I'm a little jealous of you, actually. Had flight school. Flight school? Yeah, what do you mean flight school? You be flying? That's cool. That's cool. No, it's not boring. It's not boring, Desi. I'm happy when you do what you do. Oh, you said all the wrong... That's fair, You watching me as you work? Well, I'm glad you're working. I'm glad I can hopefully entertain you while you work. What the hell is this thing? Okay. Interesting. So I'm downloading a bunch of random games off of itch, chat. I do love itch.io. It's fantastic. Doki Doki's on here, which I have not played yet. I was told that I need to get some voice actors together to play it. So I'm going to try to see if I can get some voice actors together to do that, and that'll be interesting. Oh, here, this one's fun. I have a job interview. Yeah, let's download this one as well. You made him swear. Psy Hate Station. I might check that out. Dead Plate is my favorite itch game, just saying. I'll voice it. You'll voice it, Aura. Aura, who are you going to voice? Southern voice? What are we doing? Oh, God damn it. All right, we're doing the Southern voice. So I was not paying attention. Oh, that's fair. Well, we'll see. I have plans. I got plans, chat. But it's going to be in the distant future that we're going to be doing that. Because, I'm going to have to actually, get everybody together. And can you imagine getting 4 people together at once? Chat, I've tried to get one person together for a collab. And that didn't work. So I don't know how I'm going to get 3 or 4 people. That's just going to be the worst. But we'll try. Best I can do. But we're not doing Doki Doki today. Oh, all right, guys. You'd be good. Today we're going to be doing Shift at Midnight. Oh, the southern accent shattered your brain. I'm gonna bet I can do a lot more than that. I mean, what? Hey. All right, so we're going to be doing a Shift at Midnight. We're going to be doing Blood Money. And we're going to be doing Overnight Interview. All right? I think it should be a lot of fun. Want to know about the game that inspired Doki Doki? If it gives me any vibe of what Doki Doki is, I do not. If it has zero anything about it that would give me away anything, then yes. I'm scared of Pixelated Nightmare. That sounds interesting. All right, Robin, enjoy your sleeps. All right, Shift at Midnight. We're going to extract that. We're going to extract Blood Money. Good night, chat and femboy. Who's a femboy? Chat, which one of you is a femboy? Who are they talking to? It weren't me. Crucified. Dwarf, what do you mean? What do you mean? Aura's the femboy? Alright, you know what? We can do that. Aura can be the femboy today. I'm not a femboy, chat. What do you mean? What do you mean? I am not a femboy. Does this look like a femboy to you? Where is the fem? Where is the boy? You're a twink. I had to keep my mouth open, didn't I, chat? I could have just not talked. That would have been an option. That would have been an option right there. Oh, Jesus. How do I even play this game? 1 second, chat. I'm trying to find the start button. Where the hell is the start button? All right. Is it you? Do I press you to make it work? Nope, that opened Visual Studio Code. I don't think that's what I'm supposed to be clicking here. All right. Interesting. Wait a second. I broke it. I'm sorry. Redeem. Oh, not this again. First, we got the ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. Also, how dare you. Yeah, so I broke the game. That's what happened. It's fine. And then we got there. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. Happy? He might get mad. What might I get mad at? Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Oh, wait a second, wait a second. I'm almost done with the southern voice. Gotta let me get through the first one, and then I'll do the second one, okay? Oh, not this one, too. Genie got the... Spell! Spell, congratulations, Spell. Congratulations. I am so proud of you. Congratulations, 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 congratulations. So proud of you, so proud of you, so proud. And now we can go into this voice now because we have to do this apparently. Because somebody also wanted this. Also now we have 5 more minutes of this, so we're going to have to be there for a while. Okay, okay, we're here, we're good, everything's good. Yes, ja, natürlich. Good, good, good. Okay. I think I figured out how to launch the game now, chat. I think we are almost good to go. Let me make sure. Okay, the game is working. The game is working. I have done it. Okay. But yes. Why do you like this, chat? What is it about this voice that you enjoy? Could you explain this to me? What is it about this that you enjoy? Explain it. Do I have to add British next? Is that what you're going to want? You're going to want me to do a stupid little British accent? Or what? It sounds hot as fuck. What do you mean it's hot as fuck? I have to Google terms in here so often. That's fair, that's fair. They do struggle a bit. There's the hello, Siren. How are you doing today? Are you doing okay? Do you need anything, sweetie? A stupid British accent. Yes, because any accent I do is stupid. Oh, no, I've done the... You're crying. Why are you crying? Wait, have you all not heard the voice I do for the video game? It's not really British, but have you heard the voice that I did in the video game that I'm in? Have you all not heard that? No, I'm not going to do the voice. I could play it. Wait, give me a second. Let's see if I could find it very case. Yeah, no, I just play a few vehicles in a video game. It's not a big video game or anything, but it is a video game, and so I felt very, very cool about it. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find it. Where's the video? That is not it. Is this it? That is not it. 1 minute, please, while I scroll. Arson, why are we committing arson? There's another video I did. There's another video I did. So all of my TikToks. Okay, what is this? This is a TikTok. This is. 1 minute. Here, found it. I found it. Okay. Are we ready? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that, Goth. I hope everything goes well for you. But I am sorry they've been so shitty to you. It's a better place here, okay? Alright. Alright, chat, you ready? Here we go. We're gonna swap to gaming. Nowhere to go. All right, here we go. This is me in a video game. Chat, we're gonna pause the music. Okay. Hopefully you can hear this. You ready? Set?
I'm as silent as a flying owl. I stay tuned to the incoming signal. Moving there now. My remote control has enormous range. Oh, the faster we gather, the faster we advance. Everything belongs to the Iron Hand. Absolutely everything.
But yeah, there's little lines that I did for a video game. Hi, Molly. How you doing? Also, we have the demo reel, which I don't know how many of you have seen the demo reel, but the demo reel is amazing. Siren, I would happily give you a hug. But we don't need to do the demo reel right now. I do like the demo reel as much as I love the demo reel. But yes. I just know some people here haven't heard it. Anyways. Cool. We're gonna play some horror games. Chat, you ready for some horror games? We're gonna do... Oh, what's it called? Shift at Midnight? Ah, found it. Bloop. I don't hate it. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Play the game right meow. No! Chat, I'm canceling all games. I'm just going to do this. From now on, it's just this. Anyways. Just kidding. I can't do that. Make me don't. What are you? Why are you licking the? Don't lick the screen. Don't lick the screen. Shift at midnight. Loop. Turn up the game volume. Where's the game volume? God, I have too many volumes. Game capture. Bloop. Okay. You ready? You ready? Okay, it looks like it's just supposed to be ambiance. It's ambiance. Alright, it's time. Here we go. Don't stop licking. Why are you licking me? Why are people licking me? Don't lick me. Don't lick me, chat. Stop licking. Stop licking. Stop. No. 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 No lick. No lick. Bad. Bye, Buzz. Why do you all have so many different lick emotes? Who's giving you all these lick? Oh, hey, look, a coin. Yay. Who is giving you all so many licking emote? Why don't I have a lick emote? No coin. Ooh, coin. Alright, we got this. Jesus Christ. No coin. No coin. No coin. Stop with the... Why? Why? Use this to buy a cola machine. Okay, toilets. Any more coins? Oh, coin. Oh. Why can I... Okay. Oh. Oh. Coin. Chat, there's a coin in the mirror. How do I get that coin? What is... Oh. Ooh, coin. Ooh, coin. Ooh, coin. Vaughn, you said to lick? Oh, that's fair. Ooh, coin. I do need licking emotes, chat. Like, what am I gonna do if I... Wait, no, if I let you have licking emotes, I feel like you're... Ooh. It can't see. Good to know. Good to know. Ooh, coin. This is what the game's about, right? We're supposed to find coins? I don't know what I'm doing, chat. I'm just finding coins now. Think there's a coin out here? I wonder. Sorry. Hi, everybody. I got super distracted. Hope everybody's doing good. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing lovely, amazing, fantastic? I hope so. Is it? Oh, coin. Ooh. What if maybe? Maybe. Ooh, coin. Oh, check the notice board. Okay, sorry. Get a drink at the vending machine. Hey, congratulations, we can do that. What do you mean throw? I want to drink it. I want to drink it. Use trash bags to throw out the limbs in the storage. Brr. I don't want to throw. Okay. Go toss out the limbs. Soda is for eating, not for... No, soda's not for eating. I don't want to eat. I'm thirsty, chat. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Mop up the blood. Yay, mop. No eat, only eat. Oh, that's no fire. That's no fun. So is chat, apparently. Chat is special. Chat is not for eat. Chat is only for yeet. Got it. Restock the incomplete shelves with boxes. Chat's thirsty. Chat, are you thirsty? Chat, are you thirsty? That's crazy. Wait, what am I doing? Did I do that? Oh, crazy. I can't believe chat's that thirsty. What's got you so thirsty, chat? No, bring me drink. Actually, you're not allowed to leave. You must bring me drink. I have coffee in front of me right now that I'm waiting for it to cool off, which is Japanese coffee. Yummy. Dehydrated? No. Go get some water. Actually, I have a gallon of water next to my front door. I should grab that so I can drink. What do we do? Why are you an exclamation point? Why are you excited? I don't like that. Why is the shelf excited, chat? How about you drink water? Just get drenched immediately. I just got drenched with the water of the hose. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Gene, like your fluffy ears. What about my fluffy ears? Okay. Actually, I do need to get some water. Chat, can you give me a minute to get some water? Or should I just not drink water this entire stream? It's okay, chat. I don't need to drink water. I won't drink water. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. I don't need water. I don't need water. It's fine. It's fine. Dwarf, no, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. It's fine. It's fine. I will starve. Hydrate or dehydrate? Fine. Fine. I'll be right back. Oh. I didn't realize my mute was off. Hi, chat. Yeah, I noticed now. I also got myself a little chocolate pastry. Oh. How did I... I'm sorry. This is... Okay, some of your customers will be doppelgangers. You may ask each customer 5 questions. Coffee. If you suspect anything about their stories and appearance, question them to determine if their response is, human. If you ask the right questions, you will see non-human detected. Locate the gun underneath the counter and shoot. Sweet! Interesting. Well, now you must be the new night cleric. Welcome to the graveyard. Oh, it's probably a little daunting, huh? No worries, let me give you the rundown on how it's done. Pew pew. First, scan my ID card. Okay. Boop. Scan successful. Okay. Occupation sheriff, obviously in uniform, often wearing glasses. Okay, now interact with me to ask questions about my appearance. Okay, head. Don't stress, there's no time limit when questions customers. Bags items. Take your stuff, take your stuff, take your stuff, your stuff! Anyways, hi chat! Okay, sorry, I am eepy, I am very eepy. I have coffee, it's fine chat, I have coffee, I'll be fine. Anyways, we're gonna close this out. There we go, nice. He just left his stuff, it's my stuff now. Give me your ID. Boop. Okay. Occupation nurse, bald, often wears glasses. Took my glasses off before heading in here. Okay. Movements. Just a little tired. Okay, okay. Clothes. Scrubs, that's fair, that's fair, that's fair. Head. Keep it shaved easy that way. No time to fuss with hair when you're running by the hospital. Okay, okay. And limbs. Alright, good enough. You did good, I'm proud of you. Are you gonna take your stuff? Take your stuff. 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 I'm so mad, chat. I'm so mad. They could take their stuff. Oh, shelf's empty. This is fun. Okay, I'm already enjoying this. I'm enjoying this kind of. Ah, shit. Alright. Honey Bunch. Honey Bunch. Nathan Calloway. Nathan Calloway. Ah. Uh-huh. Anyways. Wait, remember to clean. How'd I clean? How do I clean? Okay. It's fine, it's fine. Hi. Okay, we're throwing this away. Guys, throw it there. Okay. It's fine. I got this. Hi, Amethyst. How you doing? Hello, my favorite birthstone. Because you're my birthstone, and that's why you're my favorite birthstone. Muppet. My noodles. My noodles aren't noodling fast enough. Noodle faster. Anyways, okay. It's fine. We're supposed to here. What's up? Oh, yeah, you. I don't like her. Occupation plumber. Often dirty from work. Hair often in a ponytail. I've been a flight attendant for 3 years. It's a steady job. Keeps me busy. Anyways, okay. That's what happens when you write down the wrong job on your application. I like that she just kind of stands there and she just like deals with me lining up the gun. Chat. Chat, there's a guy out there. I'm gonna see if I can shoot him. We're gonna try that, chat. See if we found a secret. He's gone. Did it. I did it. Are you proud of me, chat? Did I do good? Mopping up the salsa with the spaghetti. No. But I killed a man. Why? But I thought I did. What is... Oh my god. Fuck, I guess we're gonna lay a trap or something. Why are we laying traps? What? Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. My car wants to... I really need a hand getting it running again. Can you come out and help me? Chet, what do you think? Do we help the guy? You're not giving me a choice. We don't have a choice, chat. We gotta go help him. Alright, let's go help him. That way. Well. What the fuck? This gun is useless, chat. The gun is useless. I didn't have a choice. Oh, coin. You think I wanted to go down there, chat? You think I wanted to go say... Excuse me, sir. No, I'm busy. Just take your shit and get out. I'm busy. Fine. Yeah. Good evening. Just grabbing a few items before heading out. Yeah, huh? I don't like you. Mm-hmm. You're lucky I'm cute. I'm cute? Aw. Okay. Valid. Tall. He is tall. Okay. Your face is weird. Movements. I don't like your head. Okay. Close. I'm out of questions. Alright, fine. You get food today. But if you come back... I'm not a puppy, Jen. I'm not a dog. Prove to me right now I'm a dog, huh? Okay, wait, you. Interesting. Limbs. So much evidence. Look at his face. His head is stupid. His head is stupid, chat. Look at his little stupid face. Look how stupid his body, face, and head are. Clearly, he's bad guy, because he's just so stupid. Apparently, he's fine. Okay. Well, he's got such a stupid face. It's not my fault he's a stupid face. He wouldn't want to drop kick him. Why are we boarding doors? Okay, we need to be able to get out this way. Maybe I'll board this door. There we go. I'm such a good doggy. Is that fucking explosive? That's a fucking explosive. I mean, like, yeah, it's not that I want to use the explosive, but like, well, if I need to use the explosive, the explosive's there now. It's fine. Okay. Sure, everything's gonna be fine. Explosive. Yeah, I was supposed to be explosive. Don't worry about it. Oh my god, you got here, you came in here looking kind of weird, I don't like you. Boom. Blow you up, that easy. So explosive. I'm gonna explode myself? Nah, I'm not gonna explode myself. Who would do something like that? That's crazy. I would never do something like that. No, I'm just gonna blow people up. It's alright, don't worry about it. Anyways, what were we talking about? Sorry, I got distracted there, chat. Oh, gotta stock the shelf. We're just gonna put some little... I like this. I like that it's a grab and place thing, but I don't have to find stuff, you know? Baby gibberish regime? What the hell do you mean, baby gibberish regime, chat? I was literally just talking. Every time I'm a little puppy, I'm not a little puppy. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. I'm a little guy on my birthday. Chat, have you heard the little guy on my birthday story, by the way? Like, where it originally comes from? Please tell me you've not heard the story? Okay, so, there's a meme that goes around where it's like, I'm just a little guy on my birthday. And, it's like, you wouldn't hit a little guy on his birthday, would you? A little guy on his birthday. Well, so, there was this, hi, Maple, good to see you. There was this, lady who was dating this short guy. And what he liked to do is he liked to go to, like, bars and stuff and find the tallest guy in there and just rile them up, you know? Like really, like, get under their skin. And then as soon as they would start, like, to, like, even, like, act like they're gonna punch him, he would go, oh, you wanna hit me? I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. I'm gonna hit a little guy in his glasses, and it's my birthday. You wanna hit a little guy on his birthday in glasses, would ya? And they would always stop. They always would stop. They would never fight him. So he just kept getting away with it. And I like that. I like that. And it became art and everything, so, you know. Yeah. Chat, it would work with me, too. You can just come to me just as I go home with the C4 detonator. You wouldn't ban a little guy, would you? You gonna ban a little guy on his birthday? No, I wouldn't ban a little guy on his birthday. Not a little guy in his glasses on his birthday. Yes. Uh-huh. What the fuck is... Okay. I've had a C4 explosive in my hand this entire time, by the way, chat. All night. Yeah. You want to hit a little guy? You want to hit a little guy, would you? No, you'll never hit a little guy. A little guy? You want to hit a little guy? Some humans siding with doppelgangers? Ooh. Crazy. Anyways. He was evil. He was a bad guy. You didn't see the way he looked. He was a bad guy. Are you, Jade? Bald people... She was evil. She was evil too, chat. She was evil. I didn't mean to kill that one. That was an accident. Do you like your life? Alright. Cool. Okay, so... Fuck, anyways. Damn it, it just takes so many... God damn it, people! Give me like 3 seconds, come on! It's getting closer. Okay, I'm gonna deal with that. 1 second. Redeem? Ooh woo. Thank you so much for the redeem. Why? Why do you want me to ooh woo? Okay. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, chat, it's fine. Alright, Tommy. Okay. Do you worry about the blood around you? Yep, you're good? You're fine. I don't have time to deal with you. You just go. Leave. Yeah, damn it. Can y'all leave? I mean, either you're the clone or the other one was. Anyways, okay. So now I know that at least one of you is real. Okay, Jesus. Just want to clean the store. It's so hard to clean the store. Why are you back? One second, chat. Fuck off. Okay. Anyways, yummy tomato. I don't know what's more important right now. Do we clean the store or do we just... I mean, look how much blood there is. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm cleaning it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Sir, there's no blood. It's tomato. Tomato ketchup. I'm way too comfortable with a gun. Welcome back, Clyde. Since when do you wear glasses? Yeah, because I shoot first and ask questions later. I'm proud of me. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me? Yeah. You're wearing glasses. You didn't have glasses last time. Do you want to tell me why you're wearing glasses? Oh, maybe you were wearing glasses. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Your body looks weird. Why is your body so lumpy? Okay. Why is your body so misshapen? Have you thought about, like, shaping your body properly? It's not even like you're fat or anything, which you are chunky, but I mean, like, buddy, why is your body so weirdly shaped? Nope. Nope. No. I can see him. No. I'm too smart for this man. Leave. Go away. I'm eating a chocolate croissant. You can't stop me. I'm eating a chocolate croissant. What are you gonna do? Just gonna snack on my chocolate croissant, drink my coffee, roll my dice. Not gonna fucking do it. I mean, look at this man. Look at this man. Look at his stupid fucking hand, though. Look how skinny his arms are, man. Have you ever lifted anything beyond your own little pee-pee? Sorry. What's up, homie? Where's your gasoline? Hmm. 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 Where's your gasoline? Okay, you know what? Uniform? Where's my gasoline? Okay. Glasses. You know, it's a good question. Good question. Good question. Good talk. Good talk. Where's your gasoline? Your limbs are weird. Where's your gasoline? Okay, honey, I'm just gonna... Huh. Can you hold this? Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't trusting the gun chat. Aha. Mm-hmm. Hey, well, guess what? Nobody can prove it. You want me to use my customer service voice? Perfect. You know what? I got this, chat. I got this. Boop. I got a gun. All right, so we're just gonna... Hi, good morning, everybody. You know, don't worry. I gotta clean up the store real quick, chat. We're just gonna get this little bag. I'll leave the gun back there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna... Hook up and the slimy stuff into the bag. Boom, 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 boom. Here in DuckTales. Boom, 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 boom. Ba, 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 DuckTales. Woohoo! Ba, 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 DuckTales. I have got a gun and I am hiding. Ba, 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 DuckTales. Quickly shout out Aura. Shout out Aura. Aura's gonna stream chat. Go follow Aura. Follow Aura. Follow Aura. Give Aura a lovely little follow. They're a mod. Go check them out. Give them a follow. Mwah. I think I win, chat. I think I win. Eventually he's gonna leave, right? I live in here. Why he sounded like he's slurping the spaghetti? Alright, so this is a room tour. There's the grate. And we be slurping that spaghetti. Chan, it's the new meme for the stream. Everybody, remember, you have to be slurping that spaghetti. Does he just live here? Be slurping that spaghetti. Up. You be slurping that spaghetti. I'm too fast for you. Ah, slow down. No. All right, chat. Next time, we are not using the bomb. We're not using. Ah, no, fuck. I didn't think it would go back. What's the goal? What's the goal? What's the goal? All right. Oh shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Dodge. Okay. Hey. Fucking yeah. All right. Where's my phone? We're gone. Yeah. Okay. All right, chat. I'm ready. It'll never find me. It'll never find me, chat. No, the coins are important. The coins are important. I know the coins are the most important thing, chat. You don't understand how important the coins are. It's you who is getting me down. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm sorry. A coin. There we go. I'm about to pay that thing. Go, hey, yo, you want a soda? You want a soda? You want a soda? Have a soda. You want a soda? Have a soda. Get fuck nerd. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. Come on. Open the door. Nerd. Nerd. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Look how stupid he was, chat. We're pros, is what we are. Okay, anyways. Yeah, I did good. Didn't I do good? Chat, are you proud of me? You proud of me again? Can we, is it okay to... Hey, look, coins. Thank you. I'm trying my hardest, okay, chat? By the way, we only allowed a doppelganger to do his groceries. We did kill pretty much everybody else. And, oh god, my feet! Who put that there? Who would leave that thing in the doorway where I would say, chat, which one of you, who put that there? Who did it? Was it you? The nerdy one on the back. Raise your hand if you're the nerdy one right now. Look at you outing yourself as a fucking nerd. So goofy. Can't believe you just call yourself a nerd like that. The self-bully. That's intense. You know, valid though. I'm so proud of you for knowing who you are inside, chat. Do I know what the fuck I'm talking about? No. That's okay, though. I don't need to know. I'm a gay nerd. You're speaking to the choir. Stop talking to the choir. They need to sing. If I were smart, I'd be a nerd. Oh, I'm sure you're plenty smart. Hey, what's 2 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2, dwarf? God, I feel like I'm back on one of those shows in the early 2000s. Just calling somebody dwarf. Where's my Venn diagram? Nerds are hot now? Nerds have always been hot, chat. I forgot the basics. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4. Oh, God, they left a mess outside. Does that count as part of the mess I need to clean up? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. Oh, coin. Dun, dun. If that guy's out there again, I'm gonna be. He's not out here. Good. Glad he's not out here. Fucking gross boy. He's so gross. He's such a gross boy. I love the noodle mop. It's Gene's lover out there. My lover has no flesh. You can throw bottles at it. Yeah, I can also shoot it. I guess that makes sense. I should just buy a bottle when I'm back there and do it instead of, you know, going all the way around. Hi. Hi, Echo. How you doing? Coins, 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 coins. I'm just gonna take this bottle home with me. We're just gonna have a soda tonight. Yeah, take me home. Take me home, country roads to the place. Thunder, bring her to the ringer. Jen, I didn't make quota. I have to do it again. Wait, was that it? That's not it. That's not it, right? Like, I gotta keep going until I meet quota. So we're gonna do it again, right? It's not just 2 nights, is it? Give me a second. It is only 2 nights, chat. Okay, that was the whole game. That was the whole game. That was kind of cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's a good game. A good game. They did good. I'm proud of them. But chat, are you looking forward for me doing a cover of Thunderbringer? By the way, I'm totally gonna do a cover of Thunderbringer. We're just gonna sit and just chat. I think it's gonna be easy. Yes. What do you mean sure? What do you mean sure, Gibbets? Everybody should be excited for my games. My songs. Oh, what do you mean games built on Chromium can't be captured? Fuck? Blood money, maybe? Of course I know Epic. I mean, we were watching, I haven't seen all of Epic yet, but we were watching it together on stream. Were you not here for the Epic streams? Oh my god, you weren't here for the Epic streams, were you? Oh my god, you weren't here for the Epic streams. Epic the musical? Your heart sinks. This is not what you wanted to hear. How are you going to come up with a large sum of money? 1 click equals $1. It's an attempt to clear your head. You decide to take a drive, but your eyes catch peculiar sight along the way. Thunder, bring her to the ringer. Hey
there! My My name is Harvey Harvington, and welcome to my booth. Each time you click me, I'll give you $1. Sounds like a sweet deal, doesn't it?
Have fun, Yuki. Thank you. All right, here we go.
Tip before we start. I always say clicks are like tiny magic spells. The more you believe in them, the more they'll do for you.
Okay.
Just keep clicking and see what happens.
Okay. He's just giving me $1, chat. Can I shop? Cost 100. Oh, whoops.
Come on, you can do it.
All right.
Every click is a step. Oh, hey, look! You see the shop button up there?
Okay.
When it starts glowing yellow, that means there's a cool new item to buy.
Okay. Interesting. What'd I buy? Oh, money's worth more now. Okay, cool.
Every click is a step closer to greatness.
All right, thank you, Harvey, I suppose. I still don't understand what's going on, but it's fine.
Oh, you're making my day with these clicks.
How much is the next one? Need 500. Okay. Hi, Vanya. Welcome back. Hello, Kitten Magician. How you doing? We're clicking a button. This is blood money. I don't know what we're doing.
You're making my day with these clicks.
Sure we are. I don't know what's happening.
Every click is a...
Yep, got it. Hello, Moonlight. How you doing, Moonlight? What's up?
Stop that! Nah, just kidding. Keep going.
Well, I gotta click fast. I guess we got a needle, so am I just stabbing him now?
Oh, hey, you got a needle. Let's see how this goes.
Wait.
Okay. It's not exactly tickling anymore, but you're still going strong.
Why am I stabbing you?
Wow, you're really pushing through my pain barrier here.
Okay. Okay.
I admire your dedication. Sure, let's go with that.
Okay. All right, let's get through this as quickly as possible.
Just remember, I'm in here too. But keep clicking. You're doing great.
Can we go back to the feather and maybe just keep clicking endlessly? Oh, of course, I'm glad I could cheer you up. Do you think maybe we could just do the feather by itself and make it? Do I have to stab him? I mean, I would have to click.
Ow, this isn't really fun anymore. But hey, you're over $1,000 bucks.
But I mean, what if I just only did the feather? What if I did just the feather and clicked 25,000 times?
Maybe we should take a break and try something else. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I could just restart the game, couldn't I? Like I don't need to be doing this. I
guess you're the player, so you call the shots. Keep going if you think you can handle it.
I cannot pet him. How could I pet him? I can only stab him. But I need the money.
That's oh, you bought a hammer? What are you gonna do with that? Look, I know we've had our fun with the needle, but let's not go crazy here, okay? You don't actually want to... I mean, you wouldn't, right? Ah! Oh, God! That's not what I meant! You're not actually going to keep using that, are you? Tell me you're not going to use that! You're just testing it out. That's all, right?
I need the money, my guy. I can't.
Stop! This isn't funny anymore! That's enough! You're scaring me, okay?
Jesus. Chat, if this is too much for anybody, I totally understand. You can take a moment to step away or turn off the volume or back away. But I'm going to see this through. I'm going to see this through.
Please, I'm begging you stop. This isn't a game anymore.
Sorry, honey. I'm so sorry. One sec. I'm gonna swap to the category gaming and demos. That way nobody comes in from just chatting. Thank you, Moonlight. All right, here we go. Enjoy your look. Please brush my ears. I would love that. Oh, it's about to get a lot worse, chat.
Each one feels so real.
It's about to get a lot worse, chat. It's about to get a lot worse. Mm-hmm. I'll just do violence warning. We'll pin it. Right. Jesus. There might be a cutoff for me, chat.
Can we please go back to the feather? Heck, even the needle. What did you just purchase? Scissors? Oh no. Please tell me you're not gonna use those on me. That's a bit.
What the fuck?
Ow! My eye! Oh God, my eye! You're a monster! What the hell is wrong with you?
I think that's gonna be it for me, chat. There is a level, there's a point. Maybe I'll try it again, but I don't think I'm comfortable continuing on that journey at this time. So yeah, that'll be my threshold, chat. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm definitely okay. Interesting game. Very, very interesting. Very dark. Not gonna... I'm good. Yeah. Anyways, where were we? Game? Okay, hello applicant. Thank you for taking the time to apply at Small Shop Co. We are pleased to inform you that you have been selected for a working interview shadowing a store manager at the location to which you applied. Please arrive at 12 a.m. prepping with a flashlight, the standard equipment for your position. Looking forward to meeting you. Sincerely, Small Shop Co. Yeah. Hydrate, thank you. Stretch. Thank you. All right. Let's do it. Did I bring a flashlight? Hello, applicant. This is your hiring manager. Your interview has begun. Your first task is to find me. What? What the fuck? What? 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 Okay, if I was a... Interesting. What the fuck? The fuck is this? Okay, hi, Scully. I love the hiding part. I'm the hiring manager. Scully, nice to meet you. Good job finding me so quickly. Just give you a quick overview of my background. I started cashier 20 years ago. My first promotion cost me an arm and a leg. Ha ha ha. Then I took my hair. Then my skin, heart, and the rest of my organs. I have a diversity of hobbies. Origami, painting, and clay modeling. My therapist suggests publicly sharing my hobbies and interests. I made this crane last night. Let's move on to the next task. Take some items from the shelf and throw them onto the floor. I'll be assessing your hand strength and posture. And remember, do not throw them at me. It makes my head spin hard. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess we're just eating things. What am I doing? Okay, that'll do. I've assessed good strength, shrimp posture. Then the real ask him questions. Based on your answers, you'll lose or gain points. Because I wanted to see what would happen. You can't blame me for that. Based on your total points by the end, you might be eligible for a prize from the corporate. First question. Customer is unsatisfied with your service. What do? Eliminate them. 50 points. Yeah! I'm the best at this chat. Before we move, his head span. Let me teach you how to handle a different cold customer. If you see an unsatisfied customer charging at you with a knife, pick up an item from the shelf and throw it at them. Let's do a test run. Although death from failure will be real, grab an item from the shelf. And only when I charge it, you hit me. Ready? I want to speak to a manager. I'm unsatisfied with your service. Quick on your feet. I like that. Oh no. He's coming. Hi. Hi, Scully. You must be the new applicant. I can tell by the number of limbs you still have. I'm Schooly. Nice to meet you. Schooly's touring this branch tonight. He does usually not work here. He's doing his bit. He always introduces me as a touring manager. To be real, I'm not okay with this behavior. He doesn't want the new people to know that I work here. He believes I make this workplace less cool, but life is too short to stress over an unlikable coworker. For the next text, I'll have you pick up items on the floor. Put them back where they were. Exactly where they were. You'll be assessing your ability to watch your back. What? 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 Fuck. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Okay, he's gone. Where the fuck did he go? What the fuck? Why? 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 What? I want you to meet Cop. Okay, he's our guest supervisor. What the fuck? He's not a permitted employee here. Just passing by. Only for tonight. Hello, I'm Cap. You can call me Cop. I'm half Dutch and half German. I'm aware why school introduced me to new people as a guest. I'm okay with it. I'm only concerned with the things I can control. In high school, I decided I wanted to be top of the retail management chain. The end point of the chain. That is my ultimate purpose. Although looking at the ketchup packets behind me, I believe I could easily have made it as a graphic designer. Only if I had more discipline. Never doubt yourself. Let's start the next task. We need to pick an order for a customer. 4 watermelons. This guy comes in at 7 in the morning. Big breakfast. Or a pen elephant. I never asked. They need to be placed in the empty shopping cart. Next to the entrance. Okay. Okay, let's go get the watermelons. Can you, huh? Can you move? I broke the game. Okay, I figured a way out. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I was gonna take some watermelons. I was gonna. Why? Why are you so close to me all the time? They're making this so difficult. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like half the job is just avoiding the stupid skulls. Oh, you bastards. All part of the interview. Good thing you packed a flashlight. He disappeared again. I'm sensitive to gore. Can't watch this. Watch my distance. Oh, you bastards. You bastards. You bastards. Got him. You're a fast learner. You don't fear the dark. I've had many applicants who lied on the resume about enjoying darkness. Fakers, they should have lied. Well, I'd love to get to your interview. Many more tasks and questions, like helping me find what cop is hiding under the windmill. But this is it for now. This is where the demo ends. I see a lot of potential in you. By the way, I made it, chat. The melon made it. That was... I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel about this one, chat? It was a game. I mean, okay, you know what? It's imaginative. Would I pay like $2 for it? Definitely. I pay like $2 for it. Twist Compact. Like, if they made a full game out of that, I'd play it. I'd play it. I'd try it. I think it could be made into something, maybe something very interesting. It could also be something just awful. It was definitely something. Okay, let's see what else we have. Shift at Midnight, we did that. Online Obsession, Mr. Magpie's Harmless Game. Snarl, Trox, A Mother's Eyes, The Butterfly. Okay, interesting, interesting. Silent Residence, The Residence, Digest, Pet Sitting. What are we gonna play? What are we gonna play? The Pit Stop? Let's play The Pit Stop. What's Bad Summer? The Butterfly's not cute. What's Bad Summer? Ooh. Ooh. You want me to play the butterfly, chat? You want me to play the butterfly? You sure? Are you sure? Okay. Let's play the butterfly. Hi, Lychee Jelly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's gory. Are you all okay with gory? Everybody okay? God, I love lychee jelly. Lychee jelly is amazing. And they're just so incredible. Love them so much. All right, what was the game called? Okay, the butterfly. All right, we're just gonna set this on gaming. Working on assignments. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy your assignments. We're doing horror games tonight. Yay, horror games. Okay, let's play the butterfly. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure chat isn't misleading me. This is a good game. Right, chat? This is a great game and I don't need to worry about anything at all. I've heard of it. You've never... What? What? Hi, Gene. Hi, Gene. Let me recommend this. The Butterfly. We're about to play The Butterfly. Hey, Gene, I'm going to recommend The Butterfly to you. It's a great... It's butterflies. Aren't butterflies so cool? All right, here's how it starts. All right, here we go, chat. Nope, just the butterfly. One egg. Okay. Something's blocking the door. Ooh, it's a drawing of a butterfly. I never said I hate you. Nixie, 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 what are you up to, Nixie? Lovely, sweet little bun. The bunniest bun of all the buns. Queen bun. Oh. It's a wooden mannequin. That's not worrying at all. Hate is implied. I've never hated anybody in my entire life. Interesting. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for the Lexies, Lychee. You have a good one. I'm already lost. We're going to check over here real quick. A lot of flies. It's a note you wrote this morning. Please eat something today. It's hard to see you like this. Love you. The sandwich is untouched. Okay. Sigh, sad panda. Why are you sad pandaing? Why are you sighing like a sad panda? I'm so confused. Lychee. 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 It's lychee. What do you mean lychee? Egg. No. That's not worrying. Not lychee. Lychee. Why'd it be lychee? That's a note you wrote a few days ago. Please hold on. Keep taking your medicine until I can give you the cure. Stay strong. Leah, don't look at me. Okay, it's kind of worse. Please get me my medicine. Okay. Really, Lychee? Oh my god. Oh, that's cool, actually. That's very cool. No, Carmilla. You don't understand, though, that I'm actually the right one. Here in DuckTales. Ooh, ba 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 DuckTales. Where is the medicine? I can't find it. Boom boom. Door is locked and I can't find it. DuckTales. Do you think this house makes sense? Hypothetically. Aw, fine, fine. But I want to be... Can you, Lychee, can you lie for me and just say I'm right? Just let me be the right one. TV. Where is the medicine? Please, Lychee, please. Please, Lychee. Look, I'm so cool. And friendship. Friendship. Okay, I need to find your medicine. I'm just, you know, just say, Gene is right. Gene is always right. You just gotta listen to Gene sometimes. You can do it, Lychee. You got this. I'm so lost. I'm the left one. Oh no. Okay, maybe. Do I just grab the medicine? Oh my, okay, I just grabbed the medicine. There's no glass. There's no glass, chat. There's no glass. It's okay. Ha ha! Yes. The proof, chat. I win. Thanks. I feel so horribly itchy all the time. I know it bothers you, but please, feed Spotty for me. His food should be in the kitchen. League is the kitchen key. I win! Shoulder. Soldier. Shoulder, soldier. Because that one's blocked. That one is open. I cannot see. I've lost my glasses. Oh, damn it. Okay. My save just said it's okay. On the other side, maybe? Here. Ah, kitchen. What the fuck? Ooh. What? What the what the hell? What? Why? What? Okay. Definitely weird, chat. Can of dog food. Yeah, pick up the phone. Okay, I guess I'm just supposed to use the bolt cutters, I'm assuming. Velma would be a sick cosplay. Okay, if I were bolt cutters, where would I be used? If I were bolt cutters, where would I be used? Here? Got a bad feeling about this one, chat. I got a really bad feeling about this one. Hello, mannequin. You wanna watch a movie with me? Like Scoob, he's right behind me. It's a wood mannequin. It's a note. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm perfect. I'm so full of energy. Oh. Mayhaps we not? Oh, a key. Yay. Second floor office key. Oh no. Yeah, I will get sad if you don't focus on me, chat. Most of his entries are addressed to you. Since we moved in, you've so closed off the time. I love you and you're so close. Nobody likes me. It's okay, chat. Chat, you can talk to yourself. It's fine, chat. I don't care. It's okay. You can talk to yourselves. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, chat. Yeah, I miss Vanya. Sometimes you say something mean, but that's decides how many. I'm kidding. Mwah. I do miss Vanya. You said there's a cure though, so I will hold on. Will you be there for me? Today you said my fingers look chubby. You've never said anything like that before. I was not ignoring you, chat. Fine, you're right. I'm right. You're 100% right, chat. Chat. Give me a second, chat. Chat, can you believe that this game is a spooky game? I mean, look at it. Look at the note. Guessing you're noticing these things when you're together all the time. I felt worse today. The guy is just making fun of his wife's chubby fingers. Like, who says that? Also, the fingers? You don't insult the fingers. Is that so awful, chat? Have you ever had someone insult your fingers? No, chat. Have you ever had somebody insult your fingers, though? Don't flip the tables. Stop flipping the tables. Leave the tables. Put the tables back. Put the tables back, chat. I'm sorry. I'm not a good streamer. I'm trying my hardest. Please, chat. Please. You've actually had somebody insult your fingers? You insult your fingers, Dwarf? Why do you insult your finger? I have insulted my fingers. I have insulted my fingers, actually. My hand is bloody. Huh. Interesting. Okay. My fever doesn't go away, and that itching is unbearable. I'm eating less. Too long and skinny. Welcome back, Echo. Don't worry about it. Sometimes these things just happen. I'm eating less. I spent a lot of time looking at my fingers. I really don't like them. You've been hard at work in the woods. I should be proud. But honestly, it creeps me out. Sorry for not eating the sandwich you made. I know you miss the old me. Please, I need the cure, whatever it is. At night, it feels like my skin is ripping apart. Oh. 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 Hey, chat. It's nighttime. Hi, Snowfangs. We're playing a horror game today. I got stuck behind the door. I am not a hazard to my ass. Oh god, chat, she's gone. Oh god, chat, she's gone. Oh god, chat, where? Help. Okay, this is gonna be scary. Can you like cuddle me real quick here? Can you come here and just cuddle me a little bit? Because I'm already really scared. We killed the dog. The dog is dead. Hold me close. Hold me close, chat. Huh? Hold me close and turn and dance. Oh. Hi, Spot. Thank you so much. I loved it for the 3-digit lock. First, the hour, hands, current time. How often I should be fed. Dear year, you have suffered her. The years you have suffered her. Four times a day. Four times a day. Where's the hour hand at? I mean, it would suck. Okay, do we have a knife? Chat, I don't like it that it keeps telling me there's a knife. Shouldn't I be able to grab the knife, chat? Oh, don't let me grab the knife, chat. She's gone. Neeks, where? Help me, Neeks. Four times daily the dog. Well, and the first one is the current hour on the hourglass. Did Neeks leave? Chat. Okay. Okay, the number. Fucking. Okay. Okay. Two. One. What's one? It's one. It's one. One. Why would Neeks left me? 1, 4, and we're just gonna keep putting in other numbers. Okay. Two years. We've been here for 2 years, Chad. Okay. Front door key, you take it. You ready? You ready? Fuck. Should I grab the knife? Let me grab the knife again. Jet door's already open. She's gonna be at the end. The door's already open, chat. The note is pinned to the tree. The two initials are joined together in a curly drawn art. J plus L. Oh no, chat. It knows my name. Oh, that's what I forgot. I forgot to turn on my fan. Wow, no wonder it's so hot. Give me a second, chat. Okay. Spooky, scary. It's just a dog. It's fine. Spooky, scary, skeletons and shivers down my spine. Why is nobody protecting me? We're protecting the rest of chat. There's eyes in the forest, chat. There's eyes in the forest, chat. Look at the eyes in the forest, chat. How'd you get out here, Spot? Small broken handle. I think we're dealing with a person that's trying to hatch. Snuggle close so Jean gets eaten first. Wow! Why are you putting me at the front of the pile? As this should be, but did not feel alive. Simple wedding key protrudes from stomach, you take it. You combine the winding key and the broken handle to make a fence gate key. That's a note you wrote last night. Layla doesn't like my latest mannequin. She says it's too lifelike, too real. It moves even when I'm not there. However, it still needs a soul to give life. Forgive me, Layla. Spotty will die now, but live on forever. I'll make it quick. Used a pair of bolt cutters. It wasn't quick. This is Butterfly. We're just in games and demos, that's why. The Butterfly. Who uses bolt cutters to kill a dog? Sorry, chat. I'm just thinking about this now. Like, there's significantly easier things that you can use to kill a... Like I mean, I understand a psychopath, but I mean, like, even for a psychopath, there was a kitchen knife. The knife was an option the entire time. If I remember right, I think it was this way. Too predictable. Too predictable. What, like the dog is going to be surprised? Oh my god, he's used a bolt cutter. I didn't see that coming. My death is so much more poetic now that I didn't see the... okay. Too predictable. You see, if you're gonna kill a family pet and use its remains to make a mannequin, you can't use what everybody's expecting. Oh, hey, look, she's out here. Yeah? Are you sorry? Please forgive you. What are we forgiving? I felt so hungry. So hungry, please. There should be something in the refrigerator. Thank you. She's a big back. Yeah, chap. You know we love him big back. Hello, Pomo. Hello, Pomo. How you doing? Strange sense emanates from inside. You open it. It's a sandwich. Was it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. And sure, bip it, dip it, damp it. And sure, bip it, dip it, damp it. Is it worth it? I believe it, Palma. I believe it's very hard. It can be hard. I need to check his link chat. Sure, flip it, dip it, damp it. Hoist the colors high, evil, together, never will we die. Together. Please get me more medicine. I think there's some in the attic. That gives you that third fifth. You go tired of running her errands. All together. Why is this house so freaking big? This is insane. Stop blinking. Chat, stop blinking. So now you were a few days ago. I designed my mannequin to be exactly like Layla, to mimic her and her mannerisms. But it's often started to surpass her. When I plays the piano clumsily, my mannequin shows the most incredible precision. Its slim fingers never miss a note. No. Come on, dude. Come on. I got 16 tons from the water again. Another year older and deeper than dead. Won't you come, cause I can go on my phone to the company store. Ah! You moved 16 tons, what do you get? Another year older and deep in debt. And you want to come cause I can go so my soul to the company store. Hi, Moreau, we're playing horror games. How you doing? I'm bleeding. Oh, hi, Spot. See what mannequin has 2 piano keys in its bionic mouth. You take them. Thank you. 16 tons. Oh, Moreau, you know I care about you deeply. This is about to get jump scary. Do you want to take this with you to sleep? Because it may get gory. I am warning you right now. This may go very, very... You sure? You 100% sure? Okay. All right. Help, please. It's too much. Hi there. It never got better. I can't bear it anymore. The terrible pain, the itchiness, the disgusted, scared look on your face. What have I done wrong? Why is everything different now? Why are you so distant? Fingers are always so very slender now. Leah doesn't respond anymore. Alright. Bye, dwarf. Have fun. Mwah. Bye-bye. Why? It's a clock key for the door in the front of the clock, Leela's clock. Honestly, yeah, that's a good question. And I got the song stuck in my hand. You move 16 tons. What do you get? Another year older. When you come because I can go, so my soul to the company store. Okay. I don't know, chat, actually. This one? Nope. Song of Doran. How's that go? I have not heard that one. You move 16 tons of water and gun. No, nothing there. So try a different room. Bam 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 bam. Na na na. Who's that wandering through the trees? It's two sailors in the Who's your daddy? Yes, I am. Bum 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 na 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 na. Bum 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 bum. It's right. Oh, back a bottle of beer. That's okay. No, I'm missing something. The key said it was to the clock, right? Like the door of the clock. I'm not crazy. Oh, this is the only clock. Oh my god, it's at the very bottom. It's a hidden note you wrote. It's titled Confession. I couldn't bring myself to tell you. There's never been a cure. The doctors haven't seen anything like this before. Every test came back with unimaginable results. They speak of the strangest things, transformations, changes, metamorphosis. They doubt you'll be here much longer, Leia. But when you're gone, I'll have my mannequin, watching TV, having dinner with me, walking in the woods, picking apples, playing piano. It'll always be around. Like you, Layla. Like you. Everything will be just as it was. You won't really be gone. In front of the note is the 4th floor key. You take it. Okay, so I guess the idea was Layla was going to die, and so we made a mannequin that would replace her. But she hasn't died. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I'm beautiful. I'm free. Chat, I'm giving you the chance right now to look away and close your ears. 5, 4, 3, 2. Fuck ass dog. The sky is full of blood. The butterfly. Oh, there she is. And she's flying away. You know, I like it. I like it. I like it. It wasn't the most spooky thing. There's a few jump scares, but you know, it was good. It was a little story. I like a little story, you know? It was good. I had fun with it. EPs. All right, should we do one more? Or what are we feeling? How are we feeling, chat? What time is it? Don't let it starve. Oh, that's fair. Oh, fucking pizza bomb. I want a fucking pizza bomb. What the fuck's a pizza bomb? Pizza bomb. I want a pizza ball. I want a pizza ball. Give me a pizza ball. One more? I think we can do one more. What do you think? I need a yes or a no. What gibbets do? What gibbets do? They're gonna go to sleep? I think I need you. No, I have to edit after this, chat. I need to make 3 more TikToks that I can cycle between for the next couple days. And so I need to at least go get the one from last night where I get mad at Schlatt. No, it's not my bedtime, chat. I've got 2. You got the one? I'm excited to look at it. I'll edit it down. I'll throw some little special effects on. We should be good. Do people hate the song? I can do a different song. We can do that. I don't want to set your world on fire. Don't forget, by the way, chat, this Saturday for our community night, we are doing the Hear Me Out cake. Hear Me Out cake's gonna be done on community night. It's gonna be great. Okay. I will not eat after this. I do actually have to make TikToks. Then on Chat, I'm trying to remember something. I also have to clean. What am I gonna do? Saturday's gonna be community night. Sunday is gonna be the last day to apply for the mod position. If you'd like to be a mod, you have until Sunday at 12 p.m. MST. So try to do it Saturday. That's so loud. And yeah. I do need to do some cleaning, honestly. I actually did a lot of cleaning right after, right before stream. I'm going to do some laundry. I'm going to try to wash all of I'm going to throw all of my sheets into the washing machine. And I'm going to sleep without sheets tonight while they dry. 16 tons of water. Check. Can you see the game? There it is. So loud. Okay. You ready? 5, 4. Oh, thank you for the search. Hi, Galaxy. Lovely to see you, Galaxy. Thunder. You are an adult. I am an adult. Because at the beginning of the year, I left my ex, who I had sheets with, and I left them with, like, most of my savings. So when I moved out to this place, I had no money and no savings. I slept on an air mattress for 3 months that was deflating constantly. What is happening? That's so weird. Everything was lagging. Oh, I already put a table on my throne. But yeah, chat. I mean, like, I vibe with the concern and the worries. But, like, I am taking care of myself as best as I can. I promise. Things will improve over time. Don't worry about me. I got this. I'm okay. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, missing. Is that queso? Weight, yes. Structural. Distinguishing feature, couldn't resist the buy one, get one pizza deal. Pretzel deal. Free XL uniform. Already stretched. Report sightings to 911. What the fuck? Oh, interesting. Okay. Why did I just escape into the woods? No. Oh, it's not gonna let me escape into the woods. Why is everything related to queso here? Oh, yeah, what's up? All right. 40 on regular gas right away. Okay. What's wrong with this game? What's wrong with this game? You're making me worried now. This game feels funky. Oh. Run me over, 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 run me, 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 run me over! Yep, well, yeah. $20 regular fuel. Okay, here we go. Is it just queso? Is queso the problem? Is it just gonna be queso coming out of nowhere? That's murders. It's one of these games, chat. Of course it's murders. I'm the murderer, chat. I've been the murderer the whole time. Mm-hmm. 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 328? That's not bad. Oh. I mean, I'll be fine. You just kind of experience that when you work at a gas station. Why is gas $4? There's the real horror. Okay, what do you want? Hey, sir, what do you want? Sir, 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 what do you want? Sir, sir, opening window. Sir, 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 sir. Yeah. Finds regular car fuel, $60 worth. Word. Let's do it. I just want to give him the wrong gas. Welcome back, Echo. You're fine. I don't really keep track of who comes in and out. Stealing credit card information. If you leave without telling me, Savvy, I would not know until after stream, probably. I'd be like, oh yeah, where's Savvy? And then I might say something to you if you've been regularly talking. But, like, it's fine. Like, you all have your own lives, okay? I'm totally chill with y'all having your own lives. I love when you're here. Y'all are so cool. Welcome back, Yuki. Can I get for you? Are you alone? Why? 20, okay. I'm putting regular gas in there. I'm ruining his car. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's totally fine. Really, Addie? Addie, what do you do? What do you do? Do you work? Do you go to school? Let's learn. Today is going to be Learn About Addie Day, okay? Thank you for the hydrate. Hi, Ocean. How you doing, sweetie? I don't know. Fuck it. Sure is. What type of fuel? Sure thing. Yeah, Eddie, where do you live? Eddie lives in the forest. 15 tons of wood. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. Ocean, what can I do for you? Do you need anything? Oh, fun. Come do my hair and makeup. And your ballerina. Nice. Can I turn the fan on? No. You need more meds? Oh, I'll bring you some meds. Hello, man. No, whatever you want to volunteer. I'm not gonna... Why dude's leg floppy? Why dude's leg floppy? Why dude's leg floppy? Oh, my stepsister is a, what is it? Blood? No, it's blunt. No. The one with fire and bullets. She's a surgeon, not surgeon, she's a nurse specifically for dealing with blood, bullets, and fire. Yeah. She loves it, apparently. She is a... I guess I shouldn't dox myself. She is a nurse for a very big city. Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't worry, I won't dox myself. Why can't I can't the phone doesn't work, chat. It just opens the door. Okay. I guess we're just deciding that that man is whatever. Hi Kinky, how you doing? $60, please make it quick. Diesel, let's go. It's a goofy phone. Pick it up, pick it up, pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. I should put regular gas in his car. I'm only gonna take a shower. I love showers, chat. Showers are the best. They make me feel so good. Good and healthy. Yeah, how do I call the boss? Yeah, there's a phone on the desk next to the computer. There we go. Get back to work, let me get back to sleep. So who's in the bathroom? Oh no, it's something scary, chat. It's a scary guy. Oh, does he know that I have gas? Oh, look, it's a car. Yeah. All right. What do you want? 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 What do you need? Come on out and give me your seed. Okay. What? Don't worry about it. It rhymed. It rhymed. It rhymed, okay? It's okay, it rhymed. It makes it fine. Just don't... Newspaper. Oh, wait. But don't bash me. Don't pull a gun on me. Fine. Here you go. Ooh. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much for the redeem. There you go. You happy? That what you wanted? Oh. Ah. Really? 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 Come on. I will... The running was too long to be anything properly scary. And there was so little buildup. Oh, there's a guy in the bathroom. Oh, look, he's gone. Oh, he's running at me on the ground because there's been murder. There's no buildup. Nothing. What was the point of the first car that came by and just drove away? I'm so disappointed. I am actually disappointed in this one. Can you detail my car? Well, chat, that happened. I guess I'm gonna go clean and edit. Ugh. Is Aura still streaming? Maybe we'll raid into Aura. I think that'd be fun. It was nothing. It was not worth anything. Driving in my car right after a deer. Or right after a beer. Hey, that's a ship like a deer. High. Okay. Aura underscore. Yeah, you probably need to actually go to sleep. Wait, well, how do you spell Aura's name? I know it's Aura, but like, how do you spell Aura's name? Oh, there it is. Aura Nix. Okay, Aura Nix underscore 0. Good. Am I not following Aura? All right, chat. I'm reading you into Aura. Okay. Go say hi to Aura for me. Y'all be good. I hear Aura actually walking towards their computer. I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta do. But y'all have a lovely time, okay? Y'all be good. I'm gonna go chill out for a bit, and then I'm gonna go edit and clean. I've got so much cleaning I need to do, guys. Mwah. It's always good to see y'all. I did have a good time, even if that last game was kind of trash. For now, boom, boy, lovelies, bye. Mwah.